Hey guys, I just wanted to do my review and give my thoughts on the pilot for the new sci-fi show Krypton. So this is a prequel series that takes place 200 years from present day, prior to present day. It chronicles is before Krypton's destruction. It chronicles essentially it's the story of Segel. I hope I'm not butchering his name. um, who's Jor-El's father and Superman's grandfather, who who basically is a witness to his own grandfather being executed by the Krypton High Council for hearsay because he was doing research into life on other. And it seems like there's this masked figure called the Voice of Ra who seems to have sway over this corrupt council and who sentenced his father to death. Who it kind of makes you look like it's kind of going into the Phantom Zone because you're so used to like anybody who gets punished on Krypton for some kind of crime they get sent to the Phantom Zone, but it looks like it gets into some kind of like dimension or some kind of it just like some kind of portal to some kind of like snowy blizzard blizzard landscape where he has to like walk off a ledge to his death, and the House of L is like stripped of their name and their hierarchy in society, so they're kind of like I guess they're kind of like downgraded to kind of peasants. They're not like the upper class anymore, and they kind of have to like live in the slums of I guess like in Candor and have to like struggle for money, and have to do for like probably it like a times jump like there was like a time jump forward to like 14 years where he's just start I guess like Segel is like starting bar fights for money in order to help the family get by, which his parents don't approve of. And then of course you have the element of Adam Strange, who yeah, and he's not rolling like his usual like space suit, and it's like he's not the space travel like in comics lore. He's just basically a human being on Earth who dresses in like a hoodie and a Detroit cap, and I guess people would say it's supposed to be a reference to Jeff Johns from real life, because I think he has like origins in he's originally from Detroit. I'm not entirely sure, or I guess it's supposed to be a nod to Jeff Johns, but he basically came from Earth 200 years from present day, coming to and hands off the crystal that allows Kal-El Superman access to his Fortress of Solitude, and he briefly phased out of existence, um and it turns out like there's just stuff going on where he's actually having a fling with the character's name like Lida Zod, who I guess or I think is supposed to be uh yeah, like General Zod's ancestor, but they're kind of both in like kind of like these arranged relationships where especially where Seg is supposed to be married off to like the I guess like I guess basically the chancellor, the daughter of like the daughter of the chancellor on Krypton, and like Darren Vex, like the daughter's named Nissa Vex, and they have this thing where it's kind of similar to how Krypton was set up in the DCEU, where it's just like nobody like has sex to procreate. It's just like they just usually just take samples of their DNA, and they just create babies, and they give like their almost like a play out like how long they're gonna live, like what they fall into this what guild they fall under, whether it's like the science guild or not, and how long they're gonna live. And that's like I think that was the most interesting aspect, because that was like one of the most interesting aspects of it. Like they have like some like kind of like there's some politics involved, And the whole thing, the irony of like Segal having a fling with General Zod's ancestor was interesting, and it was also the fact that because he had that House of El Crystal, that his parents saw that his mom came to his rescue, and she actually took him to Segal's grandfather's own Fortress of Solitude, which is not very similar to Superman's own Fortress of Solitude on Earth. With some alien life being like his own kind of like little bit zoo, housing its own alien life, statues to his own ancestors, and in the end, Segal's mom gets arrested and tries to sit, and they said it's like, oh, who was like going out to that area is hearsay, and Segal's dad tries to take the fall, saying he was the second person who went out to that area, and so they end up both being executed by Jaina Zod, Lyta Zod's mother, even though they were like Segal's parents provoked them into executing them, and she knew that and she was willing to kind of like go along with it just because it's like she didn't want her daughter to pay for the mistakes of Segal and be punished for it. And I guess you can tell that counselor like Drayon Vex is just trying to cover up the fact there's other that the House of L's research had any merit to it, just because like it undermines his authority, and also just wants to help him like stay in power. There are references to the Black Zero. Adam Strange like brings Superman's cape to him as proof that he's from the future, and the cape is slowly fading out of existence to prove because of the fact that Brainiac is actually coming to invade and destroy Krypton, 200 years early, just so it prevents Superman from ever making it to Earth and from ever existing and ever becoming a threat to him. And the thing about it is that it has like an interesting premise, but just from watching it, it was just hard for me to just like stay and get invested in the entire episode, because it kind of feels like a whole cliche factory with all the politics involved, like forbidden love, and it just feels like it was just something that was done better on like other shows, say like Game of Thrones. But Jeff Johns keeps talking about how there's going to be mentions of like Thanagar on this show, and they're going to have like Green Lantern Corps was going to make an appearance, and the fact that like all I hear about it is like all these DC Easter eggs and cameos are going to be happening, that I don't know if they're just going to be like vamping for time like Gotham is, where it's just like let's throw like all these different Easter eggs and all these different villains and different characters in, just to like when we can't actually have like full on like Superman story. And I'm afraid I'll just fall into the same trappings. I'll just be like style over substance, and it was like I said, like the pilot was not very good, and I don't know if I'm gonna stick with it. And maybe I'll do a reaction video to the second episode. It's just the fact that I didn't do a reaction video to the pilot just because it's like you have like different show. I've been able to do reactions to different shows where apparently I didn't get copyright strikes or I got blocked, but it seemed like the CW. I didn't know if it was going to be like the CW. So apparently ABC and AMC are kind of cool with any reaction videos. I didn't know if if Sci-Fi was going to be more like those networks, or going to be more like the CW, where they kind of crack down on reaction videos, especially for their DC shows. And I mean, that's the I mean, that's the thing. It's like, the affair. I mean, honestly, to be honest, like the whole like affair between Segel and Lyta Zod, and Adam Strange showing up, we having this whole fish out of water dynamic, and kind of being like our avatar for the audience is probably like the things that kind of grab me the most. Like, so it's like I'm not sure like where the show's gonna go. If it's just gonna, what kind of liberties it's gonna take, what kind of chances it's gonna take. But it's like the stuff like you know, like the stuff like the former stuff I just mentioned is like that's kind of more grabs my attention more so than like all these Easter eggs. Is like, oh, watch our show because we're gonna have like Green Lantern Corps and Hawk People and all this other and all these other like DC characters and references and stuff like that because I kind of want. They kind of need to do a little bit more than like I said. I don't want to become like a style over substance show, and it really needs to have give me a reason to be attached to this and invest into another Superman prequel in the way that Smallville got me invested in a Superman prequel. Cause especially this is not like everything takes place on Earth, and it kind of has this whole like, or we started off as as sex and the sex and X Files meets Dawson's Creek before it evolved into more comic booky, and so it's like is it gonna be like interplanetary Game of Thrones? Is it gonna be like it's got to be like some kind of it has to have some kind of hook for me other than just like let's just have it just all these like DC references just to get me to keep me watching. I'll give it maybe a couple more episodes. Maybe do a reaction, maybe do a review. It all depends on my schedule because my schedule tends to fluctuate. Because I already need to do videos for X Files and Arrow, and I mean we'll just see. I mean I'm just gonna play it by ear, so just like stay tuned. Just stay tuned to the channel and just put some like notifications on it through other videos or just like messages at the back end of my channel. But anyway, guys, what do you like about what do you like about the Krypton pilot? Do you think it's a good show? Do you think it was kind of meh? Do you think it has? What are your predictions for it? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. If you like this video, like, share, and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys soon. Take care.